Hello, fellow administrators. It's been a while. I know, I owe you guides, subs in a few videos, and I've disappeared from all platforms. However, don't worry, this time everything is sorted. Initially, I ended up taking a break because I bought a new laptop and took the opportunity to start playing new games as a result. Among the games I've played is Stellar Blade, which, by the way, hasn't disappointed me, and I'm even looking forward to the second game. But now that I've finally finished setting up my new laptop and have learned how to work with both full and new versions of the programs I use, I'm definitely back. In this video, we'll talk about the updates provided throughout Patch 4 up to the current patch, 4.3. Now let's work! This year, our newest summer event has a gourmet theme, with Jiming, Serqet, and Verthandi as the event's main characters. In addition to them, we have the return of participants from past events. With a mix of fantasy and references to both anime and memes, the summer event didn't stop there. In this event, you'll be able to progress through the story via a pinball minigame where you can unlock new characters as you cook new dishes. In addition to the pinball game, we have the return of another extremely easy minigame, the bubble game, with a few updates. Below is an image of the solutions to all the stages. If you feel the need, take a screenshot. You can see how easy it is. However, let's move on to one of the most important points in this video, which I'm sure you're curious about. The quality of life updates in Aether Gazer. I'll include updates from previous patches, as I mentioned, to give an overview of how the game is currently, and if you want to invite or introduce Aether Gazer to someone, this part of the video is perfect to help spread the word about the game. In the daily login rewards updates, the rewards overall in most areas are still the same. They've changed the color of the notification in the monthly shifted stars from gray to blue, and it's now in the bottom left corner of the image. A small update. Now, let's take a look at the cumulative login rewards. To access the rewards, simply click on the box with the 10 Oho logo, which will open the rewards section. You'll have access to your total amount of logins over the year. Along with the cumulative login, if you're a player who spends real money in Aether Gazer, you'll receive discounts according to the amount of times you've spent in the game buying the Battle Pass and Daily Stars. However, the discount applied to one is independent of the other. You need to buy the offers cumulatively and individually to get the discounts. The discount won't bring any extra benefits. It will just be a price change that will prevail until the next anniversary of the game, which will be in patch 5.0. Now, back to the login rewards. These will also be updated on each anniversary. It's worth mentioning that for those who care a lot about what's currently in the meta, the character selector will allow you to choose one from all the characters released up to the specified date. In other words, units released on the anniversary and in the summer, which are usually excellent for the meta, will be available. In case you like the idea and are considering spending in the game, here's a preview of the rewards according to the amount of money you've already spent in the game. Each period, the rewards will be updated, and you'll have access to new avatars and new avatar frames. For those who don't know if they can spend that much in the game, no problem. The rewards will remain until you reach the goal and will be updated afterwards. Despite these rewards related to how much you've spent on the game, it's worth remembering that we still have the monthly resources that are for all players and easily accessible as long as you play regularly. In addition, Aether Gazer has received another update on the inclusion of permanent events, which helps a lot if you're a new player or if you missed the event when it was released. More events are expected to be included in the future. If you're a new player, see these events as your extra bank in case you need shifted stars or materials to improve your characters without the cost of stamina. Another update we've had is that in this summer event, The backgrounds of the paid skins for the characters Esferthandi and Serqet can be obtained for free through shifted stars. Technically, in special events that provide skin tickets via daily login, and now via cumulative login rewards, you can get these backgrounds for free equally, but normally, without special events or rewards, the only way is for you to spend real money for them. Due to past experiences, I will wait for the next patch to have full confirmation that more skins will receive this treatment, but for now, only the summer skins for Essi, Verthandi, and Serqet have paid backgrounds with shifted stars. Some of you watching this might be thinking, that's nice, this game really is user-friendly, but I don't have the space to install Aether. No problem. In the latest update, Youngshi has given you the chance to customize the installation of the game and modify the files that are included, being able to select what to keep and what to remove. In the image below, I'll list other updates made to the game that I didn't show in the video. Another update, which wouldn't exactly be an update, but a decision for the game, is that there has been a big reduction in the amount of days needed to unlock stages in the new patch events. Those of you who are longtime Aether Gazer players may remember that it used to be just one stage per day, but today, the game practically lets you finish the event on the same day. We were able to experience this when we played the collab event with the God Eater game, where we were able to complete the entire event in around 2 to 3 days, something like that. But at the summer event, I was able to complete all the activities in practically 1 day. I hope that in future patches with more activities, this decision will be maintained. Before we conclude this part, it's worth mentioning that for those who don't know, in patch 4.3 you can farm, or perhaps better said buy, using gold badges, the fragments of collab characters. If you remember, according to the official message before the launch of the collab, they said that after the collab, you wouldn't have access to anything else related to the event. So I'll wait until patch 4.4 to confirm whether this is truly permanent or temporary, because if it is permanent, I'll be able to put them in Omega rank sooner than I thought. But at the moment, we really can't get Alyssa or Seal via off-rate, nor can we select their SIG keys via the functor selector for the Stars faction, let alone buy their skins. In other words, better expect a rerun being released around 2026 or 2027. Well, we've finished with the general updates. Now let's talk about what those who care about the meta, builds, farming and so on. Starting with the updates for sigils. In patch 4.3 you can farm up to the Snow Sigil, released in Parvati's patch. Along with these changes, we have sigils that are currently completely useless. The reason they're useless is because some of their effects are limited to a specific version of a character or specific characters. The sigils for the characters Skuld, Alyssa, and Ciel are completely useless in other characters. If you don't have a character to build, and you're in that comfortable situation where you only need materials for future characters, these are the perfect sigils for you to discard and get materials from. As you can see, you'll get experience materials and as well shards to purchase sigils in the specific shop for them, giving you the chance to build your unit without the need of too much stamina. When it comes to battles, or specifically challenges, we've finally received the long-awaited update to the iteration check mode system. Basically, we're seeing a mixture of RD and the late DW mode, also known as Abyss. The new challenge level implemented in IC mode is scored according to time, and you can customize it by applying buffs to your team or buffs to the boss. To unlock these buffs, you need to beat the other stages, and by the way, they are extremely easy. Each stage has an elite level battle and unlocks specific buffs for both you and your opponent. Buffs for your team will not affect your score, while buffs for the boss will increase your score by 20% for each buff activated. The calculation of the score is mostly done according to the time you defeated the boss, and then increased according to the percentage applied. In total, you can select 6 buffs, and you can mix and match between buffs for your team or for the opponent. If you don't care about the score, it's recommended that you just select the buffs as required by the monthly missions and get your rewards immediately upon defeating the stage. Apart from the rewards of this new mode, almost nothing has changed. Another change made by this update is that if you're interested in leaderboards, scores, and the like, you'll receive an avatar, which will be a temporary reward according to your position. You don't have to worry about difficulty, as you can customize the battle, but for higher placings, you need to apply the highest amount of buffs to your opponent. Another important detail is that you can see that you will now receive medals that are only visible to you, and this mode suggests which characters are the most recommended for each battle. Having talked about the quality of life updates, the iteration check updates, it's time to talk about the new characters and what we can expect from the upcoming plot. Don't worry, I won't give away any valuable spoilers about the plot, as I'm aware that many who watch my update videos have already asked me to avoid spoilers as much as possible. So your request has been granted. Since the end of last year and the beginning of this year, Youngshi has been sharing the arrival of new characters in the game. Let's take a look. Among the silhouettes, and taking the latest patches released, we know that one of them in the first image shared refers to Serqet, the Nile faction's new Dark Element unit, while the other still remains a mystery, but very likely a upcoming playable unit. The other silhouette, the first from right to left in the announcement of the summer skins, we already know that it's Ji-Ming. We can also assume that according to the silhouettes, from left to right, in the summer skins announcement, it's Serqet. If we take this possibility, we have a total of 3 unknown characters, but 2 of the 3 silhouettes could actually be skins of existing characters following the summer theme. However, we still have other characters released who have not yet become playable, so let's check them out.
管理员锻炼得很勤嘛。
Before I go any further, spoiler alert. I'll need to give some spoilers to briefly explain some characters, so if you don't want to listen, mute the video and follow the progress bar with Scold running. Starting with the units that are NPCs and that we face as bosses in the game's story chapters. I, Odin, as we already know, am the leader of the Aether Gazer, and confirmed as the game's strongest modifier in lore. Although I'm not participating at the moment, it's speculated that I'll soon become playable as the level of opponents is increasing, and the world of Gaia is becoming increasingly chaotic and collapsing.
Oh my destiny!
Loken. Despite being an artificial modifier who initially played a dubious role in the launch chapters of Thoth and Esferthandi, has played a supporting role in recent chapters and has even developed a certain level of closeness to the administrator. Often, a character's level of closeness to the player can indicate their chances of becoming playable. You can see as well that from time to time, she helps in battle Udyr AI control.
敌人，他们的灵魂看上去很痛苦。
Of all the characters, Loken probably has the best chance of becoming playable along with Irkalla. You can see that in addition to the high quality of her combat structure, even when she's standing still, she has 2 animations on her portable game console, Xolotl. Many of you may remember her from my video when I faced her without taking any damage. Although the idea of having characters with 2 elements is well outdated these days, I hope that one day she'll get a rework and become playable. Even today, it was one of the best fights I've ever had in a mobile game, Naya. Although she's a new character, so far she's becoming quite famous among players due to the fact that she can transform into a dragon. The design is similar to Leiden's appearance, but has its adaptations. She also has references to one of Japan's most beloved series, which I don't think I need to tell you the name of. Now, characters who are NPCs and had a brief participation in the game where we were given the chance to play with them or they were under the control of the AI to help us progress through the story. Baldr. I'm not sure if it's because of her colors or her personality, but some players are hoping that one day she'll become playable. The problem is that in her limited version, her kit is exactly the same as that of her twin and playable sister Hodur. And ever since the first chapters of the game, they just disappeared from the plot. Irkalla. Also known as Ereshkigal, she is technically the S-rank version of Hodur, since she also has some similar moves. She also ended up creating a level of attachment to the administrator by helping to face a new type of opponent, the natural disasters, Ningsida. She first appeared in the second arc of Sasanami, and was shown to have similar abilities to Lingguang around chapter 19 in the main story. Many players ended up liking her for her mix of nurse and idol in design and personality. And the last group, the girls who have only played a part as NPCs, or served purely for plot progression until now. There are still other characters to be mentioned, but so far, these have better chances of becoming playable than the others who played only the role of a supporting character in the story. Shihei. Since her appearance at the last New Year's event, she has started to become more in demand, especially for the inevitable launch of the module for Jin Wu. Another reason is that Shihi is Jin Wu master, and she said she would visit the Aether Gazer with her disciple. Personally, I'm hoping that she becomes playable not only because of Jin Wu, but also to expand the number of characters in the Tianyuan faction, Mesk. Also known as Meskinet, she is a recent character who served as Pluto's helper in the last few chapters and wanders on another plane. It's uncertain whether she'll ever be playable, given that she's a character who literally wanders between life and death, but she already has my support. Frey. Appearing during the period of the side stories focused on S. Zenkabo and S. Heimdall, Frey is another eagerly awaited character who some are hoping will have his appearance reworked, Neph. Appearing alongside Serqet and Hlökk, Neph, or Sennefer, is one of the new characters that have been released, but little is known about her, other than that she is like a younger sister to Serqet. She is expected to be one of the next characters to become playable, as she has officially joined the Aether Gazer team. Hlökk. I don't know exactly if it's a trend, but Hlökk is the answer to several requests over the years to release a character with a maid outfit, so much so that a while back, we had a sequence of maid-themed skins. As an agent who acts independently compared to other modifiers, it's expected that she'll become playable sooner or later, Nekhbet. Despite being related to the Korg, Nekhbet is another character who has been getting closer to the administrator at almost the same rate as Shu did at the start of the game. It's possible that she won't become playable, since so far she's only been a supporting character in the progression of the story. Well, that's all we have for now until patch 4.3 as far as new characters are concerned. If you're a regular reader of the game's story, you'll notice that the administrator is becoming more and more the focus of attention, getting more involved with the story and the characters. What's more, in this side story that was released, the administrator took such an active part that Verthandi had a jealous scene, and both Serqet and Neph showed great interest. Neph especially, to the point where she wanted to be under the administrator's command. Personally, as I've said before, I fully support these changes being made to the game, as it's putting the player in a more active role rather than a non-existent one. And to conclude, let's talk about upcoming updates that we can expect Yangshi to implement in the game, and others that I believe we really need to have implemented, since it's something that involves increasing player participation and motivates growth. I won't go into the details of common updates, such as the release of new characters, new patches, and similar things we should expect each month. The lists below are purely focused on what has a real chance of happening, and they could be released between the middle of this year's half anniversary or around the anniversary with the release of patch 5.0, and as well, focused on what players are hoping will happen or shared with me that they would like to see. As we can see, Aether Gazer currently consists of a limited but reasonable amount of challenges that are periodically updated. Among these, the most famous is False Deduction. This mode not only brought an expansion to the game's story, as well as a game structure similar to Dimensional Variable, but also provided unique rewards, such as gifts and our first dynamic avatar and avatar frame. Despite the fact that it's taking a while to receive an update on this mode, we should be patient, as it's not just about pure combat, since this game mode will also include new story chapters, new buffs, and many other things. Another long-awaited update is for the Dimensional Variable Challenge, or simply known as DV. In addition to expecting new characters, new buffs, new opponents, and perhaps even new types of stages, there is speculation among players that in the future we will be able to obtain more types of rewards through DV. Personally, I'm not against it, but if possible, I'd like them to implement a skip system where you can just select the buffs and face the bosses. My expectation is that by now, almost all players know the strategy of how to get experience points quickly to get the rewards of the mode, and technically, it pays off more than doing a full run. The only thing that still forces you to play DV mode and complete all the stages is the Battle Pass weekly mission requirement. Other places we're already in need of updates are in the Recurring Dream, Hazard Zone, Samsara, and Casualty Survey challenge modes. Among these, Casualty Survey is the one most in need of updates. But if you ask me about real expectations, then Recurring Dream, Hazard Zone, and Samsara will most likely get new updates, but I still have hope that something new may be released. In addition, it's expected that in this year, we'll receive a new character for free if they keep things as how happened in past year, such as S. Verthandi and S. Kali being given for free. This year, we already got Lin Yu. Now we're missing just one more unit, and I hope a lot that this unit will be given up to 3 S rank as well, like S. Kaylee. However, although several updates are necessary, it is possible that some game modes will be changed or even removed if plays aren't using that much a specific challenge. If they remove, it's okay to assume that they'll reallocate the rewards for new challenges. If you're an old player, you may remember the Abyss mode, popularly known as Deep Abyss, Deep Well, and as Perilous Chasm. I'm mentioning this because if you look closely, the update and iteration check brought back the rewards from this mode, and now we have the inclusion of 300 shifted stars. Another update we can look forward to is the inclusion of Season 2 characters in the list of permanent units, as we are clearly gradually seeing these units being replaced, And now that we have suggestions for teams even in challenge modes, I don't doubt that it's only a matter of time before new challenges start requiring specific units to complete them at maximum difficulty, but obviously not meta blocking previously released units from being able to complete these challenges. Take as example, Recurring Dream, Hazard Zone, Iteration Check. You can clear these challenges using off-element units, but you won't see them clearing in a similar time or performance as meta units can clear. I believe that either around half Anni or somewhere around patch 5.0, they'll become standard. When talking about this with other players from my region, almost everyone are expecting this to happen sooner or later as well. Because if we dive into this topic, the only thing that could prevent them to do it would be Lingguang, but we can see that Lingguang is not needed for the current meta teams. The only element that we could consider besides fire would be lightning when using S. Buzenbo and S. Zenkebo, but Skuld already took her place. I'm feeling that as method to balance Lingguang module, they'll release some kind of new challenge mode. Well, at least it would be fun if this really happened. Other updates that we may consider to expect are related to dailies, weeklies, and maybe even missions from Battle Pass. And since we're talking about expectations, let's talk about updates that players hope to receive, and maybe Yangshi is already working on something about. And while we're on the subject of expectations, let's talk about updates that players are hoping will be implemented. Let's start with one of the areas most in need of an update, and which I can safely say is of great importance to the game: guilds. Since the game's launch, we've rarely had guild-oriented content. We need improved interface for guilds, improved quality of weekly rewards, improved shop, application of buff methods that increase the gain of materials in the Mimir expedition, mini-games that could provide avatar frames permanently, stickers, and others. Mentioning the Mimir expedition in the list is because both the amount of items in the Mimir shop and the amount of items obtained by the expedition are not enough. Another area we need to update is the increase in bedrooms in the dormitory. We also need an adult version where we can use the administrator and interact with our girls, something we've already seen get a positive reception in games like Girls Frontline 2 and Snowbreak. In addition, the application of the Covenant or Oath system, as in the games mentioned, would promote player interest in obtaining skins related to the wedding theme. That's all for now, dear administrators. Thank you for your patience and watching until the end. Once again, these updates mentioned nearly at the end of the video are players' expectations. They are not guaranteed to happen. Always pay attention to official posts related to Aether Gazer. Just to make sure, I'll repeat this in the description and implement timestamps as well. Now, it's time for me to finish and upload my guides for Alyssa, CL, Parvati, prepare more guides for other characters, and of course, implement subs in my videos. I hope to see you in the next video. Until next time.